What does the future of supply chains look like in an increasingly automated world? Well, today we've got an opportunity to explore this question with my guest. He's the CEO and co-founder of Dexory. His name's Andrei, and he's going to tell us about this company that's at the cutting edge of warehouse robotics and logistics. And in a time where supply chain efficiency, resilience and automation are more critical than ever, Dexory is leading the way with innovative solutions that address these demands head-on. So I want to learn more about how they've developed some of the most sophisticated tools in the industry, including, check this out, a 12 meters tall autonomous robot. Yep, 12 meters tall. And with its ability to scan over 10,000 pallets an hour and cover vast warehouse spaces in record time, Dexory's technology is not just enhancing operations, but also revolutionizing how businesses think about supply chain management. So what does the future hold for supply chains? How will robotics continue to influence this critical sector? And are we truly prepared for a future where supply chains are driven by intelligent machines? And what will companies like Dexory play in shaping this reality? These are just a few of the things we're going to talk about today. Delivering daily content to 140,000 of you wonderful monthly listeners across the globe is no small feat. I don't want to take all the credit here because it wouldn't be possible without the backing of our dedicated sponsors and partners. Attention IT professionals, are you tired of juggling these multiple servers for secure file sharing? Integrated shared folders and email plus a comprehensive REST API. Kiteworks simplifies your workflow. For administrators, you can experience unmatched functionality and integration that traditional MFT servers just can't touch. Step into the future of secure managed file transfer with Kiteworks by going to kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com. And remember, Kiteworks is also FedRAMP moderate authorized. Thank you for your patience today. This is the moment you've been waiting for. It's time to welcome my guest onto the show. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Great to be here. Thanks a lot for having me. I'm Andrei. I'm the founder and the CEO of Dexory, a robotics and AI company based in London, UK.
It's a pleasure to have you join me today. I mean, one of the things I try and do every day on this podcast is explore a different area that's being impacted by technology. And I would say, 5 years ago, we didn't really think too much about supply chains. It just kind of happened. Everything just magically appeared on shelves. But then we saw so many different supply chain disruptions and they delivered so many significant challenges in recent years. So how does your approach at Dexory to leveraging robotics and AI help mitigate these disruptions and ultimately build that greater resilience in supply chain operations that I think we all know that we need? But we don't hear about a lot of these tech solutions like yours. So I'd love to shine a light on that. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do there?
Absolutely. I think you're spot on there. 5 years ago, this wasn't as as fashionable as it is today, let's call it. Yeah. I think a lot of change was actually catalyzed and driven by the pandemic period. So it caused quite a lot of disruption, exactly like you said, but a lot of businesses decided to move their operations online. So suddenly the industry had a big opportunity to obviously have more business coming its way. A lot of people started relying a lot more on logistics and the supply chains, but it also had a massive challenge because suddenly you couldn't do things the same way you did them for the past 10, 20 years. So it really catalyzed the technological adoption in the space. And it also gave us the opportunity to bring this technology to life, to bring this technology to the wider industry, to the market. And I would say a big driver for this is visibility, is the ability to make the supply chain, to make the industry a lot more resilient and to allow a much, much better efficiency across every stage of warehousing operations, the way you stock goods, the way you source goods, the way you deliver them to the end customer.
And I suspect for many people listening around the world, the integration of robotics in warehouses and how it's transforming that space is something that they don't hear about too much. We hear about AI and robotics and the buzzwords, but not about the actual value that it brings to these places. So can you tell me a little bit more about your solutions and ultimately how they deliver tangible results, things like enhancing warehouse efficiency and ultimately reducing that potential for human error as well.
Absolutely. It's obviously a pleasure to speak about what we do and the technology we've built. So at Dexory, we've created a platform called Dexory View. This is a digital twin platform for warehousing. So for digitizing and creating digital equivalents of warehouses, where people that work in warehouses, people that run warehouses, operators, managers, shift leaders, and day-to-day stuff that actually has to move things around the warehouse can log in and they can see everything that's going on in that operation, in that space. Now, what this does is it eliminates the visibility gap. So it brings this level of control, and it brings this level of information in their hands so they can run more efficiently. They can avoid wasting time trying to find pallets. They can avoid wasting time trying to find space for new goods that are coming in the warehouse. And most importantly, eliminate things like inventory errors or operational inefficiencies where goods are lost in the warehouse. We know they're somewhere in the warehouse, but we don't quite know where. And the way we do this, the way we collect this information, this is where it gets really interesting. So we use autonomous robots to collect the data. We have the world's tallest autonomous robot. It's over 12 meters tall, and it's our own proprietary technology. So we designed, I wouldn't say we designed it with the industry, but we spent a lot of time speaking to various people in the industry to understand what the problem was, to understand what's the best way to actually collect this information, and what's the best way to transform data into insights. Because at the end of the day, people want to get insights. That's where it becomes really useful. That's where it becomes really valuable. And that's where you drive value and increase robustness and increase efficiency by having these insights that literally tell you what to do and how to address various operational issues in the warehouse.
Whoa, a 12-meter high robot. That sounds incredibly cool. So how does it record what's happening in the warehouse there? Does it record and then AI identifies, or how does that work for anybody listening, thinking about this 12-meter robot in the middle of this giant warehouse, how it captures that information?
So exactly like you said, it's a very tall robot. It was designed to be close or as close to the height of the full racks that you have in quite a wide variety of warehouses. The robot operates fully autonomously. So it will go around the warehouse. It will scan the information, collect the data. It uses a combination of cameras. It uses a combination of 3D depth perception sensors, collects all this information, and it processes everything directly on the device. So that's really important because in logistics, one of the key drivers is speed. So you need to be able to provide this information at a very fast rate, at a very high throughput. So the robot will go around the warehouse. It can scan over 10,000 pallets an hour, 10,000 locations. So if you think about a large warehouse, you can scan over 1 million square feet, over 100,000 pallets in less than a day, which is a huge shift from being able to scan that or being able to collect that information once a year or even once a quarter to having that data daily. So it processes this information directly on the computers and the devices built into the robot, and it sends the data, it sends the insights straight into the Dexory View, where everyone can have access to the information, and where the rest of the algorithms and the AI systems we have extract further insights and extract actionable insights from the data.
And when I was doing a little research on Dexory before you came on the podcast, one of the things that really stood out to me is not only are you driving success for a lot of people in the supply chain industry, but you're experiencing significant growth since your inception too. So what are some of the key milestones in your company journey, and how are these still reshaping your current market leadership? Anything you can share around that? Because it feels like a great time for you at the moment.
It is a great time. It's really a good period. Like I was telling you earlier, we spent quite a bit of time in the early days speaking to customers, speaking to the market, really understanding the problem. So when we created the product, when we created the technology, it landed very, very well. So it's a relatively new technology in the market. We've released it around March last year. And I would say that was a major milestone because, as we were just discussing, it's the world's tallest autonomous robot. It's pretty much a first of its kind to operate autonomously at this level of performance in such big spaces. Since last year, we've deployed this technology across the UK. We've deployed the technology across Europe. We have customers here in Bucharest, in Romania, so pretty much all across Europe. And we've also expanded to the US and some activations in the Middle East. So I would say that within the space of a year and a half, we've managed to take this technology to pretty much a global footprint. Customers are seeing huge value from it, and that's one of the most rewarding things. Of course, you bring a product into the market, but when you see how excited customers are and how much value they can derive from the data that we gather, from the insights we generate, that was another big milestone for us, being able to show people across 5-6 warehouses how this data, how this information, and how their efficiencies are evolving on a daily basis was absolutely huge.
And I think it's difficult to believe sometimes. It was 5 years ago already since the pandemic, since the supply chain issues were hitting the headlines. I think everyone's got a slightly better understanding now. But of course, 5 years later, supply chain issues continue to evolve. So again, how do you see the role of things like AI and robotics further revolutionizing supply chain operations over the next decade? And I know when I asked that question, the next decade and this period of technological change is a lifetime away. Well, that's probably too long to look into the future, but how do you see it evolving further?
I think you're right. I think the next decade's going to be, it's going to be a very fast-moving industry. There's a lot of progress being made. I think there's a lot of, like with any new technology, there's a lot of hype about it. But realistically, there's more and more industrial, more and more practical day-to-day applications that are coming into the market. So I think that's where the real power will start to show itself. Because at the end of the day, AI is a technology, is a tool like any other. And you can use it to drive results for customers. You can use it to go over huge amounts of data. You can use it to actually understand much better what the information and some of the information that you previously had gives you. So I think we will see a lot more practical applications for AI. I think there's obviously it's exciting to see that you can speak into an interface and it will actually parse text and give you various images and all that stuff. That's really good. But when you look at applying this to industrial environments, to logistics applications, for example, it gives you the opportunity to have an interface with your warehouse, right? You can ask questions directly to those data sets. You can get a level of detail. You can get into depth of information that was, quite frankly, impossible today. So when you project this into the future, it's going to allow us to create new ways of running businesses. It's going to allow us to create new ways of running entire industries. So a big part of, like we were discussing, a big part is getting the data. But then as you look deeper and deeper into the data, it will reveal new processes, new ways of optimizing drug discovery, new ways of optimizing supply chain routes and planning. And I think that's where it really gets very interesting, because that's where it's going to make a really big impact, and it's going to drive a lot of value for us as people, as humans. We're very creative. We will come up with new ideas, but it helps you shortcut a lot of the work. It helps you do research much faster. It helps you, like we were saying, uncover a lot more nuances, a lot more information from your existing data already. So it's definitely a very exciting time to be operating in this space.
Yeah, 100% with you. And it did take a global pandemic to highlight so many of the vulnerabilities in global logistics networks. But I'm curious, how did that time influence your strategy at Dexory, and what changes have you maybe implemented in recent years to address some of the challenges that you're hearing about and seeing from your customers?
So for us, the global pandemic was, like I was mentioning, a catalyst for technological adoption. Yeah. I think for customers, it was really an eye-opener. They realized that there's a huge opportunity, but they really need to move faster with adopting technology. From that point of view, it really prompted people to look at some of the cutting edge technology available. It really prompted people to look at how can they do more with the resources they have. And I think that's one of the big challenges, because we had during the pandemic, because so many businesses moved online, so many people really started taking logistics seriously. if I can say that. I don't think they weren't taking logistics seriously before, but exactly like you were saying, a lot of things we were just taking for granted. So I think off the back of that, it really it was an eye opener. We need to do more. We need to be more efficient, and we can be more efficient. We have the means and we have the resources that are necessary to drive this level of operational excellence. So for us as a company, it really kind of pushed us a lot further into the space. And it gave us the opportunity to speak to people at a completely different level, to really understand some of the underlying pains and to really understand how advanced technology like autonomous robotics that can collect this data in a way that wasn't possible before can drive value. Because I think that's one of the most important points is how do you drive value for the industry? How do you drive value for your customers? But how do you continuously drive value with your technology? Because it's never one size fits all. You know, there's various types of warehouses, various types of logistics operations. So you need to be able to have a technology that's adaptable to almost any type of operation that you can possibly envision, from manufacturing style applications in warehouses all the way through third-party logistics, through fulfillment centers, and so on. Every one of these has specific quirks. So one of the big drivers for autonomous robotics, which again can operate without any kind of human input or supervision, allows you to collect the data, and then you use AI technology, use digital twin technologies to drive specific pockets and points of value for every type of this operation. So I think that was one of the big drivers for us. That was one of the big eye openers. Is you can actually do a lot with the data. You don't really need to be picking and packing necessarily. It's a big part of any operations, picking and packing. But if you optimize everything upstream of that, you're going to have all these efficiencies compounding all the way to picking and packing. So the whole warehouse, the whole estate will operate a lot more efficiently, will operate better at the end of the day.
And with the continuous advancements in robotics and AI, there's probably a lot of things that excite you, make you want to jump out of bed in the morning, and equally there'll be a few things that keep you awake at night. So what are the biggest opportunities and challenges ahead for helping you guys maintain this competitive edge in the market? Anything you can share around this?
I would say some of the challenges are probably related to how much hype is around these technologies. I think this has always been a problem with robotics technology. I think we've seen it with autonomous cars, and we've seen it with other novel cutting edge advancements in different areas of tech, not just robotics, but algorithms, AI, and so on. I think the expectations are really, really high. And a lot of the time, people tend to lose focus of the immediate applicability of some of this tech. I think it's a very exciting period, like we were just discussing, because you can extract so much more information. You can do so much more with existing data sets and everything you have to date. But I think being able to drive value is really what's most exciting and most scary in the same time. Because it's great to have the best technology in the world, but if it doesn't serve any customer's needs or any user's needs, it's not much more than a bit of innovation, right? So I think for us, it's one of the big drivers is how can we continuously bring new features? How can we continuously bring new value to our existing customers? How can we continuously make our technology operate better in this environment? So if you can scan faster, we already scan very fast, but if you can scan even faster, then you can collect more information and you can bring more value from those data sets that you gather. If you can operate more efficiently, it means you can go for longer periods of time, which means you can cover even bigger grounds. So 1 million square feet, fine, we can do that in a day. But if you can do 1.5, 2 million square feet, then it means you can already rescan and collect far more data, far more information. You can then bring more efficiency. So those are some of the big topics. And of course, we're always excited to break our own records. So obviously working on taller versions of our technology, like I said, faster versions of our technology. And with that, I would say also more efficient versions of the tech, right? So what other technology, what other algorithms, what other levels of intelligence can we bring into these robots to allow them to be better, to operate faster, and to bring more value, to extract new insights from the data they're gathering.
And I would imagine another big challenge for you guys is the speed of technological change, and not just how quickly the technology is changing, but also how your customers' demands and problems and everything they need help with, how that is continuously changing, evolving, adapting, etc. So how do you ensure that your robotic solutions remain adaptable, remain scalable to meet so many different diverse needs of different industries and warehouse environments? We make it sound quite simple today, but I would imagine that's quite complex and quite a challenge on its own.
So Dexory as a company, we're a full stack technology company. So that means we design and engineer every part of our product in-house. Yeah. We have a very exciting facility that allows us to design, engineer, and build our own robots. But very importantly, we have complete control over the tech stack, from the way our autonomous systems work, all the way through the perception systems, all the way through how do we package these data sets, extract insights, and use the latest technologies in AI to drive more value for our customers. That was one of the pillars on how we built the company from the beginning. And the reason why we wanted to do that is exactly what you're mentioning, is to be able to adapt and evolve with our customers, to make sure that we always have the customer needs at the forefront of the way we're shaping the technology, and to make sure that we can be best positioned to respond to these changes, to respond to new requirements, new features, new product variations. So a lot of what we do and a lot of the ways in which we bring value to customers is through our software platform, through Dexory View. Being able to build all that in-house, being able to have complete control over the direction of your product is incredibly essential. I mean, it's incredibly important. It's one of the essential points in driving a new product into the market. I'm a big believer in full stack businesses. They're hard because there's a lot more complexity. There's a lot more that you have to make sure you keep on track. But it gives you that opportunity to bring a very cohesive product, a very well-suited product for the market. I think if you rely on bringing a small part of a technology into the market and then the market catching up with whatever that technology needs in order to make it successful, it can be a difficult exercise because there's already so many moving parts outside of your control. And of course, the market has a way of selecting and just accepting whatever is fit for the problems it has at the moment. But as a full stack business, that's really what allows us to evolve and continuously delight our customers.
Well, I think you've done an amazing job today of shining a light on this industry and allowing everybody listening around the world to take a little peek behind the curtain and understand in greater detail how technology is impacting the supply chains. But if we look to the future, as someone right in the heart of this space, are there any other innovations or trends in warehouse automation that particularly excite you? And how are you at Dexory positioning itself to lead in these areas too?
So I think logistics, it's one of the most exciting industries. If you look at it, it's one of the, if not the oldest industry we have in the world. It's been moving things around since as far back as we know ourselves as a species. But I think it's also a very complex industry. So for me, one of the most exciting things is this symbiosis of human and technology that allows us to give existing workforce superpowers. It allows us to give the existing teams that work in these environments, which are quite harsh. They're big environments. They're not comfortable offices. There's a lot of difficult work and there's a lot of effort. And I have a huge amount of respect for everyone that's pushing crazy performance in the logistics industry at the moment. So being able to create this symbiosis with technology and give these teams superpowers is one of the most exciting developments that we're seeing for the industry. I'm using things like artificial intelligence to drive better optimization, to drive better ways of laying out warehouses, of storing goods, retrieving goods. That's really what is going to make us take the entire industry to a completely new level. So we're seeing more autonomous technology come into the space. We're seeing a lot more data, a lot more algorithms. but we're also seeing the huge opportunity to create this product that fits existing user needs and really takes their performance, takes these teams to a completely different level. And like I said, that's one of the most exciting bits is how can we supercharge ourselves? How can we elevate ourselves and our performance as teams to a completely new level, which in turn will, of course, transform the wider industry.
I think that's a perfect moment to end on. But before I let you go, a big thank you for sharing your insights today. But I'm going to ask you to leave one final gift to everyone listening. We have a Spotify playlist where I ask my guests to leave a song on there, Guilty Pleasures Are Allowed, or a book that we can add to our Amazon wish list. All I'm going to ask is, what would you like to leave everyone listening with and why today?
I could probably have a go at both if that's an option.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
So I think as a book recommendation, one of the recent books that I've read and really inspired me is Winning from Tim Grover. So this is a book about the sacrifices that you have to make in order to win the first time, and then how much harder it is to continuously keep on winning, and how much more demanding. And I recommend it to everyone, whether or not you're setting up a business or looking to really kind of build a team and take that to the next level. It's just as hard, and it does require a lot of sacrifice. And as a favorite song, probably I would say Unstoppables from CL. That would be a good one to go with a winning book recommendation, I would say.
Absolutely. Perfect partnership there. I think you've just given me earworm, though. That song's going to be stuck in my head all day long now. But I'll get the song added to Spotify and the book to the Amazon wish list. And for anyone listening, just wanting to find out more information about anything we talked about today, where would you like to point them?
I would definitely say LinkedIn. It's one of the best and the easiest ways to get in touch with us as a company, but also with myself. If there's any more information or if there's any questions, always happy to answer.
Fantastic. Well, I love chatting with you today. We covered a lot there, from the future of supply chains, how you foresee AI and robotics revolutionizing the operations in the future, and also how robotics is changing the landscape of warehouse operations, ultimately increasing efficiency, reducing human error, all things that are measurable improvements in that space. But there was a great line you used in the interview as well about the symbiosis between humans, between technology. That's where the magic happens, and even leaving us with a great book and a cracker of a song too. So thank you so much today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So as we wrap up today's discussion, I think it's clear that the landscape of supply chain operations is undergoing somewhat of a profound transformation. And we explored today how the pandemic accelerated the adoption of these technologies, pushing businesses to rethink their approach to logistics and warehouse management. But as we look ahead now, continuing to use this technology to optimize processes and reduce errors, enhance human capabilities, it points to a future where the efficiency is not just a goal, but it is a given now. So the one question that remains is, how will these advancements continue to evolve, and what new challenges and opportunities will they bring? And perhaps most importantly of all, how can businesses prepare to leverage these technologies and build a more resilient and agile supply chain? As always, email me techblogwriter@outlook.com, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes. But I just want to thank you for joining me today in this exploration of the future of logistics. But please, stay curious, keep innovating, continue to push the boundaries of what's possible in this rapidly changing world where we all find ourselves. Other than that, I invite you to join me same time, same place tomorrow. We'll do it all again with a different guest. Hopefully, speak with you all then. Bye for now.